Yo, welcome back to my channel, and in this episode we're going to learn how to climb some ladders. So I hope that you're ready to do that. And look, I tried to do this tutorial before and I failed miserably. Yeah, so this time I didn't fail. I tried to follow tutorials, and I don't know. For some reason, maybe because they were using an older version of Unreal, it just didn't transfer over. So I had to figure it out my own way. So this might not be the most official way to climb some ladders in Unreal, but it works, and it worked for me, so you know what I'm saying, hopefully it could work for you. Alright, so first thing you want to do is obviously open up your brand new Unreal Engine project. We're not going to touch Unreal Engine first because we need a ladder to actually climb. So if you have a ladder model that you could, import into Unreal Engine, that's good. Bring the junk into Unreal Engine. But if you don't, you might have to go to Blender to model it. So let's go to Blender real quick and let's model a ladder. It doesn't take long, so don't worry. I'll show you everything that I'm doing and how to do it. So the first thing you want to do is execute this cube. So delete this shit. Delete the cube. Press X on it. And then you got nothing, right? So if you don't have all the add-ons for your meshes added on to this to your Blender, go to Preferences, and then add-ons right here. Search for Mesh, and just turn on Bolt Factory, turn on Extra Objects. Those are good ones to have. Arc Mesh, that's cool too if you use it, but I don't use that one. But I still have it on. Fuck it. Alright, anyways, let's go to add. So first thing you want to do is add a mesh. And the mesh that we're going to add is going to be down here with the extra objects, and it's going to be a pipe joint, and it's going to be a T-joint. So you should get something that looks like that. And that looks cool for me. I'm going to right click and shade smooth it so it looks like that. Alright, next thing you need to do is press tab to go into edit mode, and then while it's all highlighted, press GX to move it to the right. So now it's moved to the right, and now we can come out of edit mode by pressing tab again. Put in a modifier on this one right here. So go to your modifiers tab, which is this blue wrench. Click add modifier, and we're going to look for mirror modifier. And now you'll see we got another one on that side. Press this down arrow and apply your modifier, and now you're good to go. Now what we can do is press tab to go into edit mode, and press the number 2 to go into line, or press this button up here, this line button. And then you're going to click, hold Alt and click the edge of this circle, and hold Shift and Alt and click the edge of this circle. So now they're both clicked. Right click your mouse, and we're going to say bridge right there. So it was in Loop Tools and Bridge. And you can see now that it's connected. So now what we need to do is hold, we need to get these circles here. So hold Alt, select that circle, Shift, and hold Alt to select that one, and GZ so we can move it up a little bit. It looks like a little ladder step. And then same thing for these down here at the bottom. So hold Alt to select that circle, Shift, hold Shift, and then hold Alt to select the other one, and then GZ to move it down. Alright, we're almost done, trust me. Come out of edit mode by pressing tab, and now we're in regular mode. So next thing we need to do is make the ladder stack. So we need to add another modifier, which is the blue wrench, add modifier, and we're going to add an array. We don't want it in the X, so on the X factor, press 0, and then on the Z, press 1. And now we got a ladder. And when you could just turn this count up to make the ladder bigger or smaller. So, you know what I'm saying? There's like a nice little ladder right there. And I'm going to apply that modifier, and now we've got a ladder. The only thing is that we got holes in our ladder, and we don't want holes in the ladder because it's not how real life works usually. So we're going to go into edit mode by pressing tab, and then hold Alt and that circle, and we're going to press fill. Then hold Alt on that circle and press fill, which is F. I'm sorry, I said fill, but F is the letter that I'm pressing for fill. And then at the top, let's do the same thing. So let's find that, hold Alt on that circle, press F, hold Alt on that circle, oops, and then press F. And now we've got a ladder. Cool. So if you wanted your ladder to curve, you know what I'm saying, like, like there's sometimes ladders that get out the pool and stuff. Just go back in the edit mode by pressing tab. This time go to face mode by pressing this button up here or pressing the number 3 and select this face and this face. You have to hold shift to select multiple faces. And then come over here and press this button over here, the transform button. And now all you have to do is press E a little bit and then rotate it on the X. E a little bit, rotate it on the X. Boop, boop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what kind of ladder this is, right? You've seen these before. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted. Alright, boom. And now you've got a ladder that curves and it could just be attached to a wall or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It makes it look cool. Or the top of a roof or whatever. Anyways, file, you could solidify this. So you could put another modifier on it called solidify, just to make it thick. And now it's thicker. And you can export it and put it into your game. So now that we're done with that, I've already got a ladder in my game. So what we're going to do is go in here. And you're going to import that ladder into your game. So for me, I think that's in assets here. And I made a folder called ladder. Cool. So you drag it, drop it in. Cool. Now you've got a ladder in your game. And mine is super big, but we're not worried about that right now. What we are going to do now is we need to make a blueprint for the ladder. So right click and press blueprint class and say actor. And we're going to call it ladder underscore BP. Cool. And then the next thing we need to do is go into our character blueprint. So find your character blueprint. For me, this third person character. Go in there and we're going to add 2 variables. We're going to add one variable that's called on ladder. Damn, if it loads. Alright, bet. Yeah, we're going to add one variable and they're both booleans. One's going to be called on ladder. And the next one is going to be called near ladder. Perfect. You can compile and save. We don't need that. So now what we need to do is go into our ladder blueprint that we just made. So find your ladder, which for me is, again, in the ladder folder. It's right here. Alright, first thing you need to do is add your static mesh, which is your ladder. So static mesh, then make sure you fill out ladder. Boop. And there it goes. So now I've got the ladder in there. And I can make it smaller if I wish, so it's not so gigantic. Let's go ahead and make it smaller. Alright. Whatever, that works right there. The next thing we need to do is add a box collision to the ladder. Now this box collision, this is the area where the player will walk into to recognize that he's near the ladder. So we need to put it like right in front of the ladder. And usually you don't want it on the back side of the ladder. We want to just keep it on the front side of the ladder right here. And then we can stretch it up. And now, here's a secret when you're doing this. Ooh, you don't need it that big. But you do want it to extend past the end of the ladder. So you want it to go up a little bit more past the end of the ladder. So we'll keep it like that. And then the next thing you want to add to this static mesh is arrow. And this will just let us know which way. See, look, the arrow's pointed this way. It's pointed this way. But this arrow will come in handy in a moment when we're going to troubleshoot some things, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not perfect during this. This is not a perfect process. I can guarantee you that. This is my little makeshift process like I told you at the beginning. So anyways, for me, I'll leave that arrow pointing that way for now. But when we come and troubleshoot it, we'll move this arrow around. But now in the event graph, what we need to do is go ahead and write some things for this ladder. So you can actually delete all of those and then click on your box on the left hand side and then scroll down, which you probably can't see because my face is probably in the way, but on begin overlap right here, and then click on box and then also do end overlap. All right, cool. So now you've got begin overlap, end overlap. And other actor, you want to put third person character or whatever your character is. It could be first person. Copy and paste that and put the same thing at the bottom. Now for the top one, what we need to do is we need to say, when they overlap that box, we need to set that variable near ladder. Set near ladder. And we're going to set it to true. Now, if you want to make sure that we debug everything and troubleshoot, you could do a print string right here. Print string. And you can just say near ladder. So you know that it's working. And then the bottom one, all you have to do is copy this set near ladder. So copy paste. Make sure the blue is hooked up to the third person character, but turn it off this time. And then also drag off from the blue. Say on set on ladder. And we want to set this also to false. But then we also want to get the character movement. So drag off of the blue here and say character movement, and it should be at the bottom. Get character movement, and then we're gonna be like set movement mode to walking. So set movement mode, and then change it down here to walking. Bop. And then you can also print a string just to debug it, make sure it's working, and you can say not on ladder or not near ladder. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You can say anything just to let you know. Away from ladder. Alright, bet. So that's all you need to do in the ladder blueprint. Now, there's a couple things that we need to do outside of Unreal Engine again. So, if you have your character, make sure you have the animation for climbing. Which for me, I think I do, but I don't know if I have it imported in. So let's check inside of his animations. No, he doesn't have it. So I got my climbing animation from Mixamo, which you can easily find it on Mixamo. And I think this is where the bug came in for me when I was actually doing this myself, because their animation may be faced the wrong way. But we'll see, because this is the second time that I'm doing this here, and so we'll see it. So for me, let's get Billy Blue and let's bring in his climbing ladder animation. And that's what it's called inside of Mixamo, by the way. So I bring it in here, I match it up to Billy's skeleton, your character's skeleton, import all. And now I should have like a climbing ladder animation in here. There it goes. So there's my climbing ladder animation, right? And like I said, this animation's a little bit messed up. But this is not the only animation we need. So once you do get this animation in here, we're going to have to make some changes. In order to make some changes, let's press pause first of all. And as you can tell, bro is off center. Like, he should be on center. So drag it back to 0. Drag this little thing back to 0. And then come over here to skeleton tree and find the highest skeleton. Like, the highest ranking skeleton for him is his hips. So that's going to move everything. And then we're going to move it so that this red line is facing straight up. Like that. Right? That looks a little bit better. And to me, yeah, that looks a lot better. So in order for that to stick, you have to press key right here at the top. Boom. And then you have to save it. So now when I press play, it should be from this point, he should stay here and continue to climb up. Right. So that's what I meant by the animation's a little off. The next thing that we need to do is we need to duplicate this animation. So right click and duplicate. And we're going to call this climbing idle. Climbing idle. And for this one, double click into it so you can get into it. Press pause down here. Go to the first frame. And then right click on that first frame and then remove frame 1 to 24. That means it's a frozen frame right there. And that's what we want. And now we can press save. Perfect. So now we've got our two animations that we need. The next thing that we need to do is we need to set up the button that you would press when you get near the ladder. So let's go ahead and drag that ladder into the map so we can see it real quick. Where's that ladder at? Bop, bop. Alright, bet. So there's my ladder, right? I'm saying it's not the best sized up or whatever, but we're about to see how it works. Alright, next thing we need to do is go ahead and set up that interaction button. So our ladder's there. Go to input folder, which if you're in 5.1 or above, this folder should be there. And go to actions. And we need to set up a new action. For me, this is going to be like a general interact action. So this action, I'll use it for more than one thing. But in this case, we'll use it for getting on the ladder. So set up, go down, like right click in here and go to input and say input action. And we'll call it interact. Alright, and then go to the folder before this, so the input folder, and click here on your mappings. And we need to add that mapping. So plus sign, and we're going to add interact right there. And for me, I need this to be the E button or on the controller, so I could press plus right here. And I can change this to controller, gamepad. I want it to be the up D-pad up. Yeah. Okay, save. X. If you notice in the bottom right, these 4 unsaved, you need to make sure you save these all the time so you don't lose anything in case it crashes. Unreal does crash. Anyways, we're good. Let's go ahead and test out that our print strings are working. So right click and let's walk over here, and you see near ladder, away ladder, near ladder, away ladder, near ladder, near ladder, near ladder, away ladder. Alright, anyways, let's go to the interact button. We got that done. Now what we need to do inside of our third person character's blueprint, we need to set up that interact button. So find a blank space in here somewhere. For me, that could be down here. And type in interact. And what you want is the enhanced action right here, interact. And then from started, what we need to do is drag off and do a branch. And an easy way to do a branch instead of typing it in is just hold the letter B and click. It's very fast. But the first one, we need to hook up near ladder. So we need to see if the character is near the ladder first. And if they are near the ladder, we want to do another branch. So we'll hook that up like that. And we want to see if they're on the ladder. If they're not near the ladder, we don't need to do anything. But if they are near the ladder, we need to see if they're on the ladder. And if they are on the ladder, then we need to set on the ladder to false. Because if they're already on it, when we press this button, then they want to get off the ladder, right? So we'll set that to false. And then copy that and paste that down in the false one. And if they already are on the ladder, if they're not on the ladder and they press the button E, then we want to make sure that they get on the ladder, right? After the top one, what we need to do is set the movement mode. So right click, or actually faster way, drag over here and get character movement, drag it off, and then you can say set movement mode. Set movement mode. And for this top one right here, for the true, we're going to set it to walking. And you copy and paste that down here. And you can even copy and paste that. Bop. And then you want to set the bottom one to movement mode, actually flying. That's actually important here. It's like one of the most important steps here, so that you can go up and down the ladder, you dig? At the end of these, what we could do is print a string to make sure that we're thoroughly doing our stuff. So we could print the string here. We could say off ladder. And down here we could print a string. You can go back and delete all of these print strings after you know that this works. But for me, I'm just trying to make sure every little piece works as we're moving along. So on the bottom one, we're going to say on ladder. Compile and save. And I think that's all you've got to do so far as the interact button. We can highlight all of that and comment it and say interact. ladder. Bow. And if you wanted to show up big, just press this button here and compile and save. Alright, so next thing that we need to do here, let me check my notes real quick, make sure I'm still on track. Alright, bet, we're good. We're almost done. We're not too far off. The next thing that we would need to do is actually go to the movement. So there's a movement part in the character's blueprint already. It comes from Unreal. And it's, you know, left, right, forward, back, all of that right there. Let's take all of this and let's move it so we can add to it. Cool. So drag this part, the first part, off a little bit. And this is the part that I had to go ahead and improvise on, because in the tutorials I was watching, it wasn't for this, it wasn't set up like this basically. But anyways, from the triggered right here, what we need to do before it gets here is we need to add a branch. So we're going to put a branch right after triggered, and we need to see if they're on the ladder, because if they're on the ladder, we want the behavior to act a little different. But if they're not on the ladder, they can just do the regular stuff. It could just go false, straight into that, straight into that. But if they are on the ladder, this is where we need to do something different. So take this add movement input right here and Control C, Control V, so copy and paste it to the top, and we're going to hook that up to true. Now for the world direction, well, first of all, for the scale value, we just need it hooked up to the Y. That is all. And then for the world direction, this is where we've got to, just like this is set up right here, so we can get control rotation, copy, paste, and then from the Z, we're going to say get up. Well, not from the Z, that's what we're going to connect it to, but right click and say get up vector, and just get the one that's like no parentheses. And where it says in rot or in rotation, right click and split that. And now we're going to hook the Z to the Z and hook this yellow to the world direction. So basically that means you're going up and down. That's the direction that we just put in there. So that honestly should do it. You know what I'm saying? That should do it. I think that's it right there. Now the last step of this is we need to set up the animation graph. So what you would want to do is come to your animation blueprint. Now I don't know what you have your blueprint looking like, but this is mine right here. I have an idle state, going to my movement state, that can go to the jump state, which can also go to a state, like a movement state with like his gun in his hand. So it's not too complicated. And if you need help setting up a state machine, there's like some videos I've done in the past on how to set up a state machine. So all we need to do here is we need to first of all go to the event graph. And again, the event graph is set up pretty simple. I know it looks ugly here. This looks very bad. And I did this game a long time ago, so no wonder the code looks mad sloppy. But it works. Shit, it works. So fuck it. Anyways, all you have to do is at the end of your little chain here, when you're setting your variables in your event graph, we need to set one more variable, but we don't have it over here. We need to have on ladder. So drag off your third person character and do on ladder, get on ladder, and then drag off of on ladder and just say promote to variable, and now it's over here. Perfect. Connect that up and that works. Compile and save. What's next? Okay, back in our state machine, let's drag off from either the movement state or the idle state. You know, just to be safe, I'm gonna connect it to both, but for now let's start off with the idle state. From the idle state, we need to add another state called ladder idle. So ladder I, And ladder idle should be able to go back to the regular non-moving state, so idle. So drag that pin there. And now from ladder I, what we need to do is have a climbing state. So we're going to add another state, which is called climbing, or ladder C. Right? And ladder C can go back to ladder I. Yes, so we need to drag that pin. And then also ladder C can go back to idle. But idle cannot go to ladder C. So we're going to go from ladder C back to idle. Now, if you notice, all these little white dots have popped up, and we need to set the conditions for all of these white dots. So let's go ahead and set the conditions for the white dots. When this one, so from ladder, or from idle to ladder idle, we need to say that he's on the ladder. On the ladder is true. So drag off on the ladder and connect it up. From ladder idle back to idle, then we need to click on this one and say on ladder. So drag off on ladder and say not true. So not boolean, and hook that up. Pop, easy. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. All right. So next thing we need to do is set these conditions. From the ladder idle to ladder climbing. So this is going to be a little bit different. So from ladder idle to ladder climbing, what's going to happen is we need to make sure that they're on the ladder, get on ladder, and we need to make sure that the speed, so drag off and get speed, and say that it's greater than 1, or greater than and equal to 1. How about that? Alright. So if he's moving, then he can enter into the ladder climbing state. That's what that said. So in this one, if he's not moving and he's on the ladder, so from ladder climbing to ladder idle. So we'll say on ladder, he's on the ladder, and he's not moving. And so that means speed is less than 1. Alright, hook that up to and then hook that up to the final. And that's the conditions for these two. And then the last condition is from ladder climbing to idle. So we need to say that on the ladder is not true. So drag off on the ladder and say not. Compile, save. Alright, that looks good. That's pretty much everything set up right there. What we didn't do is we didn't put in our animations. So on your ladder idle, go into that one, and let's put in our animation there. And that's the one we just made. So we made a climbing idle. Compile, save. And then for ladder C, let's put in our other animation, which is climbing the ladder. And for this animation right here, on the right hand side, make sure it's looped up. So there should be a button that says loop animation. Click that. Compile and save. Other than that, that should be every single thing that we need, right? I don't think that there's any other part that we have to do other than we may have to turn the animations around. So let's go ahead and test this out. I swear I just put a ladder in here somewhere. That. Oh yeah, this is Unreal Engine 5.1. But I had tested this out originally in 5.3, so I know that it works. So let's go ahead and put in our ladder blueprint, and we're going to test it out. Play from here. I know there's going to be 2 ladders. Alright, so when I go up to it, I should be able to press E and go up to the ladder. See, but as you've seen, alright, so this is where we need to fix something. So he's turning. First of all, he can't enter into these states without. So, first of all, he's turning this direction right here, which is the direction of the arrow. So we need to turn the static mesh and everything that direction. But before we do that, Or I guess let's do that now. Or turn it the opposite of that direction. So let's take the arrow and put it up here for the default. And then take the static mesh and twirl it around this way. Right? That way we may not have to do the animations the way that I'm thinking. But what we need to do in my example, and you might not have to do this, yours might have worked already. But for me, let's go back to my animation blueprint, my state machine. And he has to be able to get into these states. He has to be able to at least get into his ladder idle state, so he can get into the ladder climbing state from the gun walk as well. So from the gun walk, ladder idle if he's on the ladder, and from the gun walk back there. Okay. Wait. Okay. Oh. Here it goes. And then if he's ladder, if get on ladder and just press not. And then you have to also say has gun, get has gun, and Boolean. So if he's not on the ladder and he has his gun, he can go back to the gun walk state. That's for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you need help with this, just hit me up in the comments. I can help you with your state machine. I might do a video where I set up like a really cool, complicated state machine, which I got one that's getting a lot of views right now. It's talking about how to switch states, but it goes in on the state machine. You should check that video out. Anyways, now from the gun walk, he can enter into the ladder idle, and then that can enter into the ladder climb, which can go back into the idle. So what I also should want to do, just for my safety, is from the movement state, just in case he's moving when he gets close to that ladder, I want him to be able to enter into the ladder idle state. So walk run to ladder idle, let's say on ladder, and then ladder idle to walk run. He doesn't need to, well, he doesn't need to do that because he can just go back into that state, which can go back into that one. Alright, save. Now let's check it out this time. So we changed the direction of the ladder. Alright, let's press play from here. Alright, when he walks up to the ladder. Alright, so there's the animations right there. So you see that he's all the way around. This is where we're going to have to change up the animations though. So the ladder climbing, we need to flip that junk 180. This is the idle state right here. So go into your animations and climbing idle. Let's pause this, bring it back to 0, and get his hips and flip it in the green 180 degrees. And you may notice it's like a little bit off still. Something's off there. And let's fix that, because that doesn't look good. These are the animations from Mixamo, by the way. I didn't have nothing to do with these animations. You know what I'm saying? This is not me. This is not my fault. Yeah? Alright? Alright? Don't blame me, you dig? Alright, so we need to press key and save, right? Now let's test that out to make sure that worked. Play from here. And walk up here and press E. And now he's on the ladder, right? And now our climbing one. If you noticed, he's faced that way to the left. So we need to flip him 90 degrees. So he's climbing 90 degrees. So I don't know if it's going to be a negative 90 flip or a positive 90 flip, but this is where we got to play. So if he's climbing that way, I would think, right? So when I saw him, he was climbing, let's say, this way. So I would imagine, look at this shit. This animation is ass, bro. But I'm not gonna talk shit because I didn't make the animation, and I don't make animations, so I can't talk shit. But anyways, let's fix this. Bop. Yop. Kind of like that, maybe. And then we need to flip you this way, but 90 degrees. And you could come up a little like that. Let's see if there's any. Can I fine tune it? Yes, I can. Alright, so fine tune it like that. There. And then we're going to press key and save. Now, all I did was flip him in the direction I think he's supposed to be in. Now let's test it out real quick. And this should probably be it for this tutorial. So we'll walk up to here, press E, and now you're climbing, and yep, press E, climb up. Okay, no, you know what? His climbing was so floaty. It was so messed up. Let me show you how to fix that before we move on. So go back to your character blueprint, go to character movement, and over here in the details, just type in flying, or fly, right? And then for the max speed, put in like 300, or even 200, honestly. And then put for the braking, 500. Compile and save. And now let's test that out a little bit. And let's make this ladder taller. Oh shit, my shit it froze, y'all. Yeah. Hold on. Alright, let's try it. Let's test it out. My shit crashed trying to load it back up. So you get up on the ladder, you can climb up and down. Only problem is, look at this idle. So his idle needs to be flipped 90 degrees too. But it's looking good. We're looking good. We can go up and down. You press E to get on and off the ladder. On. See, his original idle is up there, but when you turn this idle, it goes to the right. So yeah, that's a problem. So let's just fix the idle animation, I suppose. And climbing idle. So it's climbing idle. Let's see. Pause it, junk first. It's giving me ADHD moving like that. Alright. So down here, if he was faced to the... Basically, I think he just needs to turn that way. So grab his hips and turn them this way. 90. Compile. No. Key. Compile. Save. Alright, what happens if I do that? So play from here. Like I said, I knew you were going to have to play with the animations here. So there he goes. Now I'm not moving anything and his idle is good. So yo, that's how you do a ladder in Unreal Engine, man. Yo, from Blender to Unreal Engine, you can just, like I said, if you want to be able to hop off the ladder, make sure that your box collision goes above the ladder mesh. That's what you have to do in order to make sure you can go off the top. So welcome, thanks for joining me in this episode, y'all. We made a ladder, and that's how you make a ladder in Unreal Engine 5. Like, yo, I hope this helps somebody, because I needed this tutorial, and now that I got it down, I'll never have to look in my notes to have to make a ladder. I can just watch this video. So thanks again for joining me. I'll holla at y'all in the next one. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section, and I'll try to do my best to help you out. See y'all. Peace.